Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Boss Battle. This is episode 68. We're one away from the big number, Ramen. We're one away.
Man, everybody needs to check the count. They keep messing up. But don't worry. If you miss the next episode, we still got episode 420 coming down the road in the future. So you've got time to prepare.
Absolutely. I'm your host, Crypto Hotto. Actually, it's Hotto Meta now. Wow. I'm alongside here with Ramen Cash. Ramen, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I just noticed the name change. When did you transition to Hotto Meadow? Wait, Hotto Meta? How'd you Hotto Meadow? Maybe you need to touch some grass. Hotto Meta. When did this happen?
I've been touching grass. This happened last week when I joined the Dojinals, or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. It's been a blur. Time's been a blur. But yeah.
Okay. I feel it. Okay. Welcome, Hotto Meta.
We also have our guests here. I'm going to start with D-Gent. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, guys. Lovely. And especially after hearing that intro music, I was like, grooving. It was amazing. No, pleasure to be here. Super excited for the boss battle. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And we also have, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Jotun.
You're pretty close. Jotun. Yeah, you got it.
I'll tell you. So cool.
So it's a fucking Nordic frost giant. It's fitting. I'm a tall guy. This whatever this is going to be cannot possibly be worse than what I had to experience earlier because I had to go to the post office, which is not too far from my house. I didn't want to wait for a bus, so I grabbed one of the electric scooters they have here in the city in REK'T. And so I right up there, go to the post office, grab my package. It's a tube. It's this tube, actually specifically this tube, which is fine, no big deal, except I also didn't want to wait for a bus on the way back. So I'm like, it's fine, no big deal. I'll just put on the handlebars, ride back that way. So I'm riding back like this, controlling the speed and the brakes this way. Not good.
No way.
It was more like braking was like a suggestion more than it was just like it was not great. So that was sketchy as fuck. But here we are.
Glad that you're here in one piece, and the package was also delivered in one piece. That's what's important. Yeah. So good to see that. We have a chatter here, Beef Basted.
Yo, Beef!
It's boss battle time. Good to see you, Beef Basted. We also have Damien in the chat. Shout out to Damien, part of the production team.
Cool. He's cool.
Co-founder of Catalyst. He's cool. He's more than cool, Ramen. Put some respect on my boy's name.
He's cool. He's a cool guy. That's all right.
We're gonna go over the rules of this show real quick, and the rules are: our guest has to have an 885 average above all bosses. So you got to get an average across all bosses on that. Towards the end of each round, the audience will be voting on Twitch to determine how our guest does. And there will be a cooldown round between bosses 2 and 3. And it's going to be like a kind of a lighthearted cooldown period that's not going to be graded at all. So just quick fire questions. So D-Gent and Yotan, are you guys ready to play boss battle?
I guess so. Let's get it on.
I remembered why I don't do the show at this time. I remember the landscapers are outside right now with the leaf blower. Yeah, that's why I forgot. I was like, no, this time is good. And I forgot. This is exactly the time that they come over here. So if you hear that in the back, those are landscapers, folks. If you hear snoring, I have not kidnapped anybody. That's my dog. That's 134 pounds. You hear snoring in the back. So just heads up.
I thought you said I fell asleep. I'm like, you better wake your ass up. Let's get to boss one. Question number 1 says, eFrontier emerged from CCP's 20 plus years developing EVE Online, but as a completely separate survival MMO. What drove the decision to create an entirely new game rather than evolving the existing EVE universe?
Jota, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Okay, so the long and short of it is like this, right? We started working on EVE Online back in like 1997, okay? They published it in 2003. 2003, shocking, 22 years ago. A lot's changed in the world of gaming since 2003. Really just the world in general. It's a significantly different kind of experience for most people between now and then. And technology has obviously changed pretty significantly between now and then as well. So a couple years back, there was a team within CCP who was like, hey, listen, what if we just took what we know, our Carbon engine, the engine that we built to create EVE Online, and just fork it, see if we can create some other kind of experience using the same tech. And at one point that when they were messing with it, we were talking about, well, how can you what if we wanted to make it a distributed product? Like, what if we wanted to make it so that at some point in the future there may not be a need for the traditional server stack that most games run on. What if we made it fully distributed? And so then we started looking at the blockchain tech, and we started looking at all these new technologies that were coming out at the time. And then at some point they were like, you know what, fuck it, we'll just roll with it and see if we can do. So a couple guys who were working on some other projects at the time forked off, started working on Frontier, or what was Frontier's Project Awakening back then. And then they just they worked on it, and when they got to the point where like, this might be a viable thing, like we just made like a survival game using this tech. And then that's how we got to here. I mean, I say that's how we got to here. It's like 3 years worth of pre-development to get to that point. But it was not too bad. It required a lot of work on the back end. Obviously, a lot of huge engine modernizations had to happen between then and now, which were a long time coming and will benefit EVE Online as well, the flagship product for CCP.
But there's also the vision, right, to create the EVE forever. Taking the lessons learned from these 20 years of experience in the Web 2 space, where you where CCP owns the game, the economy, etc. Creating a game which is on blockchain, but also have this modability, extensibility possibility, is kind of in the vision of creating a game that will outlive its creators. So we're kind of putting the foundation there, giving the opportunity to mod the game, and having the decentralized aspect of blockchain, and that goes for a dual token system, but also a lot of in-game game mechanics like the smart assemblies, where you can actually, as a player, if you have the skills, you can actually code and interact with these smart contracts and do tons of cool shit. So there will also be down the line possibilities for people who don't code to kind of just through the UI prompt different calls to these smart contracts, but the opportunities are huge. So it's creating a game that would last forever. That's kind of the answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. We have a comment here from Beef Base that says, I love the survival genre. I have met some of my best real life friends now playing them. So that's very cool.
Yeah, it's cool, man, because EVE Online, for anybody who's ever played EVE Online or knows anything about EVE Online is very much more a game of it's like chess, right? It's much more like, you think real big picture when you're playing EVE Online for the most part. There are some people who don't think at all. But a lot of people think big picture in EVE Online. And Frontier, as a survival game, really feels more like a knife fight in an alley. Where you don't know if there's somebody else in the dark over there, but there might be, and they might have a gun. And that's kind of the vibe. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Let's move on to our next question here. And it says, the project was originally called Project Awakening before becoming EVE Frontier. Walk us through the evolution from initial concept to the survival MMO we see today.
Sure. You want to go first? You want me to?
No, I think you have the story. I've been working in the company for 4 months, so I haven't.
I got you.
I haven't been a part of that, so you go, man.
So there were a couple, like I said earlier, there were a couple guys who they were starting, wanted to talk about this idea of a fork of the main game and just trying something a little bit different. I mean, it all came from this idea that they wanted to modernize the tech stack, wanted to basically take a look and see if we were going to do something a little bit different using the same tech we have, all the tech we have now. If we had that tech back in 2003, what might that look like? So there were a lot of different variations of it back then. And hell, honestly, the game has changed even significantly from when I joined the company about 1.5 years ago till now. And it was not even a survival game for a long time. It was just, it was honestly just like a mod of EVE Online. And it wasn't until, there was a kind of a proof of concept of okay, well, can we get smart assemblies to work? Can we get these smart contracts to work? Is all that stuff going to actually function in a way that's not because a lot of games in the Web3 space are pretty fucking bullshit, if I'm being honest. They're just they're barely games. They're just I use the term speculation machines a lot, and it's a lot of, there's a lot of that out there, and it's fucking sucks. And so the whole thing going back to the beginning of this thing was very much like this isn't going to work unless we get to the point where like we can make the game seamless. Like you can't have all that jank in the back end. It's got to be like if people, it needs to feel like a fucking burst. You know what I mean? So anyway, all this to say, that's where we started. That was Project Awakening. Was just the test phase up until the point where there was like some viability in it, and then they're like, okay, well, shit, let's see if we can get some funding for this thing, and we did. That was our initial round of funding. They put the team together, and we've been rolling ever since.
Love that.
I like how he puffed his chest out. Like all those bullshit on them other games out there. There you go. Flex your size. Flex your size.
And like the thing is, I hate to like, talk shit unnecessarily, but like I spend a lot of time.
Let's run it.
My job, in our job, both of our jobs as community developers, is we spend a lot of time looking at, not just our community, but communities around the gaming space. And I mean, I come from a Web 2 background. I mean, I've played EVE Online since I was 14 years old. I mean, I'm playing EVE Online right now. If I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, like I've got it up in the background. Like I'm going to play that game forever. And so I'm familiar with those kind of spaces and transitioning over to this space where we're trying to appeal to a lot of different audiences simultaneously. One of the big things we had to do was get, some feedback from those players about what kind of games they're used to. And what I heard so often was that so many of these games are barely games. They're just like tolerable. Like, oh, well, this game's not too bad. That should never be how you describe a game. Like a game should never be just a thing where you're like, oh, I mean, it's okay, I guess. Like that's not fun. Like if the game's not fun, then you shouldn't expect. I mean, we talk about meaning and we talk about value and we talk about all these things that we want people to get out of their experience in this space. But like, if the game's not enjoyable, no one's going to fucking want to play it. So the game has to be good first.
Louder for the people in the back. Yo,
I mean, it's wild that I feel like I have to say that at all. I mean, the idea that the game should be fucking fun is nuts, but whatever.
Sorry, Otto. I think I'm gonna flex. I'm gonna get pissed off with you. There's a misconception, I think, of what people think is fun. And I know fun is subjective, right?
Sure.
But I think opportunity to make money doesn't, it's a casino, and I get it. And I understand why there's a crazy dopamine loop because it works and they're extremely profitable. It's a great product market fit, but I don't translate making money to fun, right? And so what I've been doing is when I've been playing Web3 games now is completely removing. I don't even care about the tokenomics. I'm just playing it first. The rest of the shit doesn't matter because no one's going to join a game just to go play trade economy. Then the rest of it's going to die. I don't know why we keep doing this. It's cyclical. We are gluttons for punishment, and then we scream for 4 years of what games need and what founders need to do, and we're still at the same fucking place. It's wild.
The reason why it does this, and I don't mean to ramble. I do this a lot. I've never learned to shut the fuck up. But the reason the reason why this shit happens is because somebody found out at one point that they can use this tech stack to manipulate people or take advantage of people who don't know what they're doing. And that's effectively what a lot of these games are trying to do. And the whole point of this thing, like if we say, hey, we want to make a game that's going to last forever, that only happens if people actually want to play the game. Like it's got to be something that people enjoy first, because if you want a functioning economy, like functioning economies work IRL because people need money to survive. But like you don't need like internet money to survive. Like you want to play the game first. Like if you're gonna invest time in something, bro, you got to have something that's gonna like give you something back. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, but I think it sets Frontier apart from a lot of other games out there in the Web3 space is the fact that we're using the blockchain technology as for gameplay mechanics and not just for like a monetization gimmick. So it's not Web3 for the Web3 sake per se. It's rather giving the tools to the players and kind of achieving the vision of creating a decentralized totally autonomous game.
Yeah.
So I mean blockchain is a perfect technology to do that, right? So yeah, and when it comes to Frontier, I mean, the game is hard. It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's a survival. It's a hardcore survival
I've
MMO
heard.
game. So at times it's not fun. But
Well,
when you learn
yeah.
when you learn the skill, when you kind of grind through it and you kind of, well, okay, shit, now I kind of got that skill. Like, for example, we do these cycles. So each cycle, it's a 60-day period, which where at the end of the cycle, the game gets reset and everything starts from scratch again, because we're an alpha. So it's kind of a testing, and we test different things out. And from cycle to cycle, I personally learn so much, and it feels like a big accomplishment, and you feel good about yourself, when you kind of get over those hurdles. So it's almost like life, it's tough, and you kind of have to grind through it. But when you get to master things, you get confident and you actually enjoy it. So it's a game for you guys who really wants a challenge. That's for sure.
No shit.
Beautifully said. And I want to add a little bit to that conversation as well. Whenever I hear people that talk about it like this, they talk about like the passions behind what they're doing, for how many years you've been doing it or whatever. I don't really hear that from a lot of the games in the space. I kind of just hear, here's an airdrop, here's a little mint, farm it. All right, let's go to the next one. That's what it feels like. So it's always refreshing to find people that come to the show, more in a gaming focused approach to building a game. And it's kind of funny saying that, but it really has to be said,
I know, but you're right, man. You're absolutely right. Like it's just it's a difference of like goal, right? I look at it like if I see somebody telling me about a product and they're trying to sell me something, I'm going to assume they're trying to sell me something. But if somebody sits down, they're like, man, let me tell you why I love the thing that I'm talking about. Then like, I kind of get it. You know what I mean? I kind of, at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm willing to hear you out. Like people are trying to sell people stuff all the time. Like there's a world out there of people trying to sell you something and trying to make a little bit of money off of you. And like, yeah, I mean, of course we want to keep the business afloat. Like we're a fucking company. Like I got to keep the lights on. But at the end of the day, like, no one's gonna play the fucking game if the game's not good. So anyway, that's all I gotta say about that.
I like what Water said. If you can't see the product, you are the product. That's very, very true.
100%. Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Let's move on.
Everything
to the
that
next
is no
question
product
here.
is gambling because it's speculation.
Yeah, no shit.
For sure.
Send it.
Sure. Oh, one more thing. Go ahead.
No, you said send it. Go ahead. Next one.
Oh, send us. Okay.
Yeah.
You're positioning this as a space survival MMO rather than EVE Online's traditional sandbox approach. How does this core gameplay loop differ from what EVE players can expect?
Sure. So EVE is, I mentioned EVE being like chess. EVE is different in the sense that they're both sandboxes, but different kinds of sandboxes. EVE is a sandbox in a universe that already exists, right? EVE plops you down in the middle of civilized society and says, go out there and make something of yourself. You know what I mean? Basically gives you all the tools and the benefits of a cultured, extant society in space, and says, hey, if you need, a place to build something, here's a place where you can build something. If you need a place to repair your ship, here's a place you can repair your ship. Here's a fully fledged market full of these things that people have provided, that, all these, the stargates you can get between the stars, all these different things. Here's a security system for if you're in, the certain region of space where if somebody shoots you, we're going to shoot them back. So don't worry about it. Frontier looks at all that and like, okay, cool. Well, that's all dead. Like, has been dead for a long time. There used to be civilizations in Frontier, like 14,000 years ago, I think, in lore, and they've all long since died for a lot of different reasons. And all that's left over is like the corpse of those societies, right? So what has happened here is that the players are being woken up. That's the lore reason why you are a player in the Frontier. You are a consciousness of some kind that an artificial intelligence has woken up and said, hey, society's dead. We're going to try and rebuild it. And to do that, we're going to put you inside of a clone body, give you what effectively amounts to a Swiss Army knife, and kick you out into space, be like, good luck, make it happen. And this AI that's doing this, the Keeper, is basically hoping that if it does this enough times, eventually somebody's going to get it right. And that's the goal of the game. It's not just about survival, though it is about survival. It's about surviving long enough that you can then rebuild civilization at some point. And so when we talk about the game, I made a comment the other day. Our creative director, CCP Maximum Cats, talks about Frontier, and when he talks about Frontier, he doesn't talk about it like a video game. He talks about it like it's a civilization engine, right? Like our whole goal is to give people the tools to rebuild their a society. It doesn't need to be the society that existed there before. It doesn't need to be any kind of society that exists currently. It could just be a society. Give people those tools, send them out there, let them figure it out on their own. And if they can't, then they're gonna fucking die, and then they can try it again. Like there are effectively two separate loops that we're trying to aim for here. One loop is where you're playing a survival game and you're trying to scrape and claw for every little bit of it. And then if you get just enough that you can like maintain some amount of permanence, then you go into the other loop, which is, okay, now I'm trying to rebuild civilization in a functional way. And that's the difference. In EVE Online, that civilization exists. Like you can go out there and see the bright lights and the gates and the stars and everything. And it's very, very shiny and very nice. Frontier is much like, I mentioned a knife fight in an alley. It is a lot like a knife fight in an alley. Like if EVE Online is like, oh, here's the duel. You both get your pistols. Here's 20 paces, turn and fire. Frontier is like you're walking through the woods with a Bowie knife and a lantern, and like some guy just comes out from behind a tree and gets you. You know what I mean? That's the vibe.
Gotcha. I do tend to like the survival genre a bit. So when you put it like that, I can kind of picture it in my head how the game works. I want to mention, guys, we have well, I don't know how much time is left on the poll, but that timer is running out. So we got like about 8 viewers in the stream. We got 6 people that voted. So 2 of y'all ain't doing y'all jobs. So get to voting right now. Also, we have some comments here from the chat. When is tutorial for average gamers? Being lost is not my favorite thing. Agents,
get good. No, I'm just kidding, Sandy. We love you, bro. Thanks.
DJ, tell them about the tutorial.
Yeah, I mean, we have a tutorial out now, which you have a tutorial in game, which you can follow and you kind of learn the basics. But we also do have a new player guide. You kind of your first hour in the Frontier at our YouTube channel, eFrontier. You can see it there. I was actually part of that project because I kind of have that new player perspective myself because I'm new to MMOs. eFrontier was kind of my first, so I kind of like, hey guys, how do I do this? I mean, when I started working at CCP, I was chasing all my colleagues around, the office and like, hey guys, can you show me this? Can you show me that? And they were like, we are busy. We're building a game here, So I was like, hey, we need to have a tutorial. So there is one on YouTube, but you also have now for this cycle one in game. And when you finish that one up, I will just say, well, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tip because I've kind of done it myself a couple of times and got killed. Running out of fuel is kind of my thing. So before you actually end the tutorial, it says dismantle your base. Don't do that. Get yourself a cargo grid first so you can fill that up with a lot of fuel. Then you leave your starter system. So yeah, that's just a tip.
I tend to be like the guy that doesn't like tutorials. Like I just kind of like want to figure it out as I go. And sometimes, people like to like have their handheld and they have a nice little playthrough. And for me, it's like I like the chaos. Like, okay, how do I make fire in this game? Well, I know how to make fire in real life, so it should be similar, right? So those are the kind of things I like to do in games. But I understand why people like tutorials.
There are a lot of you're absolutely right. There are a lot of like weird nuances that came over from EVE Online that people who play EVE Online probably have a little bit more familiarity with, but people who are just kind of coming out of nowhere would be like, this doesn't really quite make sense. We're trying to work through those and make it a little bit more seamless for people who are just coming off the street because we want people to be playing the game who are not just EVE players. So yeah, but you're right. It should preferably be something that people could just walk in and pick up and be like, okay, yeah, this is not too bad.
For sure. We also have a comment here from B Space that he said, I've been going through EVE, the EVE Frontier website, and I was specifically looking for info on like clans/crews. Will there be ability to have clans/crews? Also, I assume there will be some type of PvP. I mean, space pirates, right?
The whole thing is PvP. Everything is PvP. So it's a single shard game, which means you all exist in the same server, and honestly, with very few exceptions, you can kind of be blasted whenever. So the game is very much about like being aware of of your surroundings, being aware of people who might be nearby, trying to find out whether there are people nearby, and then trying to find out if they have hostile intentions or not. But in terms of clans and crews, we have
Tribes.
Tribes, yes.
Tribes.
So in Frontier, you can create tribes with your homies. Those tribes exist as an organizational tool in game. But we're working on developing a lot of different systems for players to build their communities. And a lot of those tools are still super, super early. But right now, we have kind of the base level of how that works in game. It can be a little tricky to get set up, but it's once you've done it, it's pretty straightforward after that. It just costs a little bit of money, in-game money to be very clear. You have to kill some NPCs to get it.
Yeah, you got to. But when it comes to these tribes, I think it's kind of a necessity to get yourself into one or create one, and get your people in. You can play the game solo, but in order to kind of be as effective as possible, you got to get yourself a tribe or at least set up one, because there are so many archetypes. It's like almost 20 games in one. You can be a miner, you can be a builder, you can be a trader, you can be working with logistics. I'm personally in one of the tribes. I won't say which one because I'm using my private account on that. But we're collaborating and doing some. Watching out over the other tribes and going into in groups and battling them out. So definitely setting up a tribe. We have a lot of web actually some of the Web 2 guilds that are been setting up tribes, but also Web 3 guilds like YGG, etc. So it's it's all about communities, right, and camaraderie. So
you say YGG.
Yeah, YGG.
Oh,
yeah, YGG's got one.
They're all waiting in a dark alley with a knife. That's you got to tribe up because that's a really big tribe.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, yeah.
We got 2 more questions here on the first boss, so let's wrap these ones up here real quick. This next question says, eFrontier features smart assemblies that players can program using Solidity code. Explain how a typical player would actually use these programmable structures in practice.
Sure. So the long and short of it is we have structures in the game whose behavior that you can modify on chain. Those structures, there are a lot of different kinds of structures. Industry structures, defensive structures, navigational structures, information gathering structures. All these things have different attributes that can be affected. One of the big ones right now are gates. Obviously, you can build stargates in between different solar systems because some system, obviously it costs. We introduced fuel to Frontier. Fuel is just kind of like food in the normal survival games. It costs fuel to do actions, certain actions. One of the big actions is moving between solar systems. If you want to jump between systems, you can do that with your ship, or you can build a gate and you don't have to spend any fuel to do it, which is a lot nicer. What you can do right now in game is through the back end, you can tell the gate a lot of different things. You can tell the gate when it wants to be online. You can tell the gate who to let through. You can tell the gate to charge an admission fee if you want somebody to go through. Like you can distribute a passport in game to people who are in your group, and the gate only ever opens for people with that passport. And interestingly enough, if somebody were to come along and steal somebody else's passport, that person could probably get through as well, unless you have it set up so it does some other kind of check. And if somebody has the passport, but the passport doesn't match their face, then you can also program the guns next to that gate to fire on that person for having a fake passport, basically. Those are all things you can do currently. Yeah, I know. It's fucking crazy. All those things you can do right now, and a lot more. We've had people set up tournament systems in game using like the most base level version of the smart assemblies we have right now. There's a lot of like really in-depth base building stuff that's coming. We're actually doing a stream about that tomorrow on our Twitch channel, where we'll be talking with some of the developers or some of the designers who are working on base building, and they'll be able to talk a bit more about not only what kind of new structures are coming to the game that people will be able to build and what those structures do and how they can interact with them, but also how those things can be modified and changed, and yes, how they can be modified and changed.
That's pretty cool. The attention details is seen there, and people are saying things in the comments like, "I'm loving everything I'm here. Can't wait to introduce this to some friends later." Like that's onboarding right there. Like people are onboarding each other, and that's really what every game's dream scenario is. Like I don't have to spend endless amounts of money. I mean, although it helps, right? But the best marketer is the word of mouth marketer, right? So if you have your friends bringing you into games, I can't tell you how many times I had a friend say, "Hey, pick up this game. Let's play this game together." So it's really cool to see that kind of happen real time in chat.
I mean, that happened to me with EVE Online when I was like I said, when I was like 14 years old. Like I had a friend recommend it. We started playing together, and now here we are, fucking 19 years later. You know what I mean? Like you're right. I mean, word of mouth is the best way to. Yeah, it makes a big difference, and it is. That's one of the reasons why we've always said, we want to make the solo game strong. We want people to be able to play the game by themselves, because some people, that's just the way they like it. They want to be able to go out there into space, take their little backpack and go out into the wilderness and be by themselves. And that's fine. That's all very cool. But MMOs, almost by design, really, really function much better on a larger scale when you have people to play them with, because it's a lot like life, right? I mean, if you think back to, we talked about the frontier being, kind of like people being out in the wilderness, out, on the frontier, to use a pretty obvious turn of phrase. You got to think about like early human societies, right? You didn't just have everybody going out there and doing the fighting. You had people who would stay back at the camp and build things, and people who'd stay back and cook the food, and people who'd stay back and raise the kids, and people who would stay back and do all the things that you need to start to build society, while also having people who go out there and do the blasting. You know what I mean? So it is cool because when you have those larger groups together, you can very quickly see people start to distribute those roles out, and then people find the things that they like to do. I mean, you don't have to, if you aren't the kind of person who wants to go out there and shoot other players, you don't have to. You could be the person who goes to shoot NPCs instead and collect the loot that drops from them, or you could just be the person who sits there and builds all day and builds these fortresses that a lot of players have already started putting together, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely. I love that. Ramen, do you know if they changed something in StreamYard? Because like Mizzy reposted the stream on X, and now we're getting that in chat. That's kind of odd, but shout outs to Mizzy for reposting the stream, I guess.
Nah, I'm tripping out right now because I think you guys set up a Stargate on the chat, because I used to be able to click on the comments, but I think you program it where I can't click on these comments anymore. I think you integrated EVE Online.
That's right. That's right. It's all a psyop, baby. It's all part of the big
live op, psyop. We are doing a 21-year IP. Funny, the name is CCP too, by the way. So
listen.
It's funny that you say all that, sir. Tencent, wink, wink. Shrapnel.
Yeah, it's never heard that one before. Crazy. What an idea.
I know, right? Like you've never seen that, like CCP Dgent, but really the D is an A, so agent. We see what you're doing with the naming conventions here. I've only been here for 4 months. All hail CCP. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't. The StreamYard thing is messing me up. I don't know what happened. There was an update. This is really cool, guys. Like I have no idea about when you sold me. Like the art of storytelling is great, right? Sales guy, yep, I get it. But the Stargate thing is wild. I had no idea. Like, it's very granular. You're like, and stealing passports. Like this is some real shit, guys. Like this is like almost real life. But you just set this in another world.
Yeah. That's
very granular when it comes to the detail. I had no idea. I literally had no idea it was that detail.
What's super cool is that you can really, I mean, I mentioned it as something that you can just like do in game, but there are real world implications to a lot of what you can do in game as well. Because one of the things that you're able to do, because it's all on, it's all on chain, you just have to be able to point, the identifiers to different things. So you could tell the game right now that the only people who can access your Stargate or use your services are people who follow you on Twitch. Like that's a thing you can do in the game right now.
What?
Yes, you can absolutely do that. Yes.
Connects like
one of the I mean, just through the Twitch API, as long as they connect it to, like, you can have them connect it to their in-game character, and just that's the thing you can do right now. Again, not to get too like down the rabbit hole here. I know you guys are trying to do a thing. I'm sorry to disrupt it, but there's one of the coolest things early on. This was like maybe a year ago now when we were doing one of our playtests last year. that somebody did. They came in and they built a basically it was like a Raspberry Pi connected to a button, and that Raspberry Pi was then connected to an interface on the back end of the turrets around their base. So what you could do is while you were in game, you could have the turrets turned off so that they wouldn't fire at anybody, because at the time the turrets weren't able to distinguish between different things. They just were on or off, and they would just shoot at whatever was nearby. So what he was able to do was he tied it to a button that he just kept by his bed. Whenever he was done playing, he would turn the game off, go over to his bedroom, lay down, press the button that would then turn on the guns in game, and then he could go to bed. He was like arming his security system before he went to sleep.
That's hilarious.
It was a real thing that a man did in the year of our Lord 2024. Like, it was nuts. So
whoa, that is a dangerous man.
And that's what we talk about, man. Like when we talk about like tech stuff, like we really, really, really want people to understand, like, the whole point of this thing is not just to use this as a vehicle to, like, you know, we're trying to do some crazy ass fucking tech stuff that does not exist in gaming elsewhere. Like, that kind of thing does not exist in the industry. And hopefully it works, because I think it's pretty fucking cool. But I guess we'll see.
All right. Damn, that is interesting. That's very interesting to hear.
Dude, this is crazy.
I mean, we can mention also. I mean, we did, a hackathon back a while back, and I mean, the opportunities are humongous. I mean, there are people. There were an example of a guy who was running Doom inside the game.
Really?
People who are building dexes, and we also have given opportunities.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so people can actually, we give. I mean, we want the players to create their own civilizations. So there's also opportunities to create your own economies, basically your own in-game currency. So it's basically kind of, it's a universe. Well, now it's 24,000 star systems, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just growing. So I mean, it's an entire universe where we have put kind of the foundations and giving the tools for people to kind of build on top of that.
Well, I mean, you guys kind of like answered this next question here. This is the last question, or the last question for boss number one, but it talks about the game promises to eventually open source the Carbon engine and become a decentralized, autonomous, so to speak. What does that vision look like for the player's perspective? I mean, you guys kind of gave us that, but if you wanted to add a little bit to that on top of that, or
I'll just touch on
more concrete answer. Yeah.
For sure. So, I mean, this is the long-term dream, right? And the very short term, which is like within the next several years, this is probably not going to be something that the players see much of at all. But the whole goal of decentralizing the game is to put it in a space where, as long as there are people who want to play it and people who want to continue to support the game, then the game will be available for them to play. And this has been like the summer of stop killing games, right? Where like everybody's talking about, the companies who are able to shut down games, which in a lot of cases kills the communities around those games. And one of the things that EVE Online has been very good about is fostering this really, really intense, like really, really like supportive community of players. And right now, if we wanted to, there are people at our company who could pick up a phone, make a call to a data center in London, and shut the game off, just like that. It would be nothing. They could just say, "Okay, turn the servers off. We're done," and that would be it. That'd be the end of that'd be the show. You know what I mean? So, taking that power out of our hands and basically putting it into the hands of people who, like I said, want to support the game and want to continue to play the game is the vision. Like, that's the long-term dream. And it's immensely complicated to do that, as it turns out. It is not nearly as easy as just saying like, oh yeah, just decentralize it. It's super simple. It's like, it's clearly there's way more involved than that. And I am very fortunate that I'm not, or I guess the company is very fortunate that I'm not the guy involved with that, because that requires actual computer people who know things about like advanced engineering. That I'm just a simple talking monkey is what I am, and that's not my vibe. But like, that is, if we're able to do that, then what it means is that we'll have a game that is, like I said, as long as there are people who want to play it, the game will be available to play. And if that means that we're involved in it, then awesome. We want to be involved in it. But if it means that those players find somebody else who can, develop the game better than we can, then they can do that too. Like, it is a huge leap of faith, but it's a leap of faith that like is important, to obviously to a lot of people in the upper leadership of our company, because we want this thing. I mean, we want EVE Online to last forever. And they've put a lot of time and effort into making sure that EVE Online is modernized and tries to, introducing new, fresh stuff as frequently as we can and do all of these things. But at the same time, like if fucking meteor strikes London, well, we'd have bigger problems than that. But if there was enough, if there were issues with that server or with our company or something, then the game would just shut down and that would be it. So creating a product that then players can play regardless of whether or not we exist as a functioning business organization is I think an ambitious goal, but an important one. Even if it's not something that we actually ever achieve, it is what we are striving for, and I think it is a good goal to try and aim for.
Absolutely, love it. Love the vision. Love everything you said. That concludes boss number 1. We're going to
hope we did okay.
It's the longest fucking boss number 1 ever.
Yeah, sorry, crazy.
Man. We're going to move on to our little special announcement, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Ramen. All right, Ramen, what did we just see?
Shit, the music stopped. Yeah. All right, guys, check this out. Listen. It's my favorite time of the show. Make sure you go and collect that badge that's up there. It's my favorite price. It's free $99. My favorite price in Web3. Make sure you go and collect that, because for 68 episodes. Yeah, thank you so much, Vanna White, for displaying that on there. This beautiful cartridge is going to have some utility later on for the Catalyst ecosystem. Sorry, I'm kind of like boomerish, so Vanna White was a thing back then. But yeah, make sure you collect this cartridge. It's going to have some utility here in the Catalyst ecosystem. Make sure you get it. It is free, but it's only for a limited time. Show them all the cartridges. Show them how all the cartridges we got over there, folks. If you've been collecting these, right? Not quite Pudgy Penguin floor prices. We're probably going to beat them, but you should have them all. There's a couple of legendaries in there.
Dude, it just goes on and on, man. It's crazy. I've been doing this for a minute.
It literally goes on and on and on. You know what's wild? How many other games have we had that have had like a 20+ year IP run? That's another
not a
wild thing.
one except for this one. So
I don't think there's any other ones that we've had on here.
Most of them haven't lived past like the last 2 years, to be honest. So.
Hold on, Yoton's gonna puff chest really quick. He wants this one. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add, and I should say that there have also been 65 million registered accounts. On that IP. So
I mean, not to brag or anything, but I don't think there are many IPs in general that exist in this space that have lasted for that long. So, who can say? So no,
shout out Sybil attacks.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have one of the things we have gotten very lucky. Obviously, I mean, Eve has only lasted as long as it has because there are people who still want to play it, and as long as people still want to play our game, we will continue to develop the game. I think that is the dream of any developer, or at least it should be. My God.
You guys are like trying to do the early onset of stop killing games before stop killing games is a thing. It seems like that was
I mean, without saying it out loud, yeah, kind of. I mean, it feels like, I mean, you can we do a fan fest every year where we most years where we have it's a big event that we host here in Iceland. Where people fly out from all over the world and come to our, we usually host it at the Harpa, which is the big convention center here, and it's just 3-4 days of people getting together and talking about the game and going to all these different talks and shows and a lot of drinking,
pub crawling,
a lot of pub crawling. Like it's a huge thing, and like anybody who goes to that event comes away. Most people I know who have gone to that event come away from it being like, man, this is so fucking cool. Like, I hope we're able to do this for as long as we can because it's super, super cool. And that's great. And I went to my first one this last year, the first one as a developer. And all I could think of while watching it was, man, like this would really fucking suck if this couldn't happen every year. Like there are people who like it is the peak of their year, and honestly, may have been the peak of mine. It was super cool to go there and be part of that. And if that was just gone, like, bro, come on, miss me with that. You know what I mean?
Tradition at that point.
Yeah, like it becomes a part of your fucking soul, dude. Like I don't want to get weird about it or anything, but like it really is like it becomes such an intrinsic part of your fucking what you call yourself, to be a part of that community and be a part of that space and be able to see those people and hang out and just like do the thing. And like to take that away from people just because like, oh, well, the game's not performing very well. Like, I don't know. I think it kind of sucks. I feel like it shouldn't be that way. But
yeah,
I know.
Well, speaking of sucking, I got some hard questions coming up here for boss number 2. Hopefully y'all are ready for this.
Let's do it, baby.
Let's do it.
Tahato's face. I meant like, it's going to be hard. Can I do
got
a retroactive pause? Okay.
You're good. You're good. No, it's
Why am
I got you. I got you.
I didn't say anything.
No. We got you in
Just sitting here.
4K. No. We know this place.
Ask the question,
All right.
little man.
Yes, I'm going to. Let me adjust my noodles real quick. All right, real physics, folks. Real physics. Boss 2, question number 1. Man, these are messed up. Why you guys always give me the messed up questions? Fine, I'm gonna say it. Founder access starts at $39.99 for early access to an unfinished game with periodic server wipes. How do you justify charging for access to what's essentially extended alpha testing?
Correct. Yeah, I mean it's a good question. I mean when we first came up with this, when we first started doing it, that was the question we got, right? At the end of the day, we were trying to do 2 things. One, we want people to feel invested, right? We want people to feel like they have a certain amount of ownership over the product from the beginning, because the feedback changes, right? If it's just people popping in to, and we can see this a little bit when we do free weeks, because we've done a couple of these now where we do 10-day trial periods. People come in, they play the game for 10 days, and they leave. They can do that totally for free. We're in the middle of one right now. Actually, you can play the game for free today. That's all great, but like the feedback changes when you start having people who like have invested something into the product that makes it mean something for them. And the other thing too is, and this is a lot of people will probably say this is cope, but it's a fact, is the game is still playable. I mean, we didn't. It's not just an alpha test. It is an alpha test.
It's a fucking good alpha, though.
It is a pretty good alpha in the grand scheme. Like, I'm not to beat the chest too much, but it is a pretty good alpha. So like, people who bought Founder Access back in December of last year when we first launched it have effectively played the game in the state that it's in for free, or not for free, for a diminishing amount every single month that they've played it, right? Like if you bought in for $40 back in December, then you have played all of 2025 for $40, and we'll continue to play for $40 because that Founder Access gets you access all through development. So as long as it takes us to build the game, you will. Yeah, go ahead, DJ.
No, but you also get, you actually get the premium subscription at launch for a couple of months, if I'm not mistaken. And you also get skins and you get stuff like that. So it's kind of basically, I mean,
you get game time at once we finish development. You like the money that you're paying for Founder Access is basically like the first couple months of your subscription fee, right? Yeah. And that's an MMO. We will have a free to play version of the game, obviously a free to play access for the game, a lot like EVE Online does it, where they have an alpha and omega system, and then of course there'll be a bunch of stuff that gets unlocked for the normal paid fee, which has worked well for EVE. It's been a pretty successful business model. And it's the same thing we're going to do with Frontier, or a version of that for Frontier. So
should also mention that, the packs ranges from $39 to $99, but actually the ones that are most used are the Ascended one, which is the one. So people are kind of like,
Well, and it is a better value too. I mean, this is one of the things we found out early on, was that people, especially people believe in the thing that you're doing. And that only happens if the thing that you're doing, like, is meaningful. I guess it feels kind of a dumb thing to say, but like, if people think the thing you're doing is worth putting time and putting money in, then they will invest in it, because they want to be, they not only do they want to. I mean, this is not news to anybody, but like, people see a thing that they think is cool, and they're like, I want to be part of that. I want to be, I want to put my money where my mouth is. I want I want to be behind this thing, and that's what we saw pretty early on, and continue to see. I mean, all the time. The what they're getting from that is not even just the stuff that from when they when we go live. It's not just the playtime while we're in alpha. It's also access to developers kind of all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, they're a part of building the game with us, right? So,
Yeah.
so part of our job, me and CCP is we always check every single feedback that we get into our channels, and that's from the founders' feedbacks, the builders, feedback, and even the general feedback. And we take that and we do present this to the executives once every second week. And it's
Mm-hmm.
people are giving suggestions to improvement of gameplay, KOLs, whatever, and we the game designers are taking these things in consideration. So actually, the game now during the founders access, leading up to the 1.0 launch, is being built together with the community based upon their feedback as well. So you're kind of a part of being, you when you become a founders player, you will be a part of building the game together with us and putting the framework for the launch. And that's really cool thing.
Yeah, I think
being a part of building the shit together with us. So.
And it's something, and I got to think about this too, just the absolute longevity of this game. It's like, this is something you pay. This outside of Web3, when you're saying, hey, you're going to be a part of our game in development, we don't know if that's going to last 6 months. But so I mean, like, the hesitation is a little bit removed from there, and you guys have got something cool. And like you said, you got a pretty cool alpha. Honestly, I think 10 years from now, this shit won't even be on a monitor. It'll be like a VR AR experience, like very immersive, and I think it'd be way cooler. Come on, like it's
I know.
This is such a catch-22 or
the
whatever.
The tech isn't there, but it's getting there. It's gonna get there, and it's gonna happen. It's a matter of time.
Yeah. I love being outside. I hate staring at a monitor for 12, 14 hours a day. I'm not going to lie. I love being outside. If we can do that where I can have an immersive experience and still be outside with AR glasses, like, hey, I was just in EVE Online. Oh, yep, got it. Yeah.
The ramen, when you put those VR glasses on, you're just making the monitor much closer. Either way, like it's just closer now. It's the same thing, like it's not that different.
Hey, I'm just saying, I'm not stuck to this seat.
Yeah, you can roam, you can free roam, but I'm just saying, like the monitor is like now in your eyeball. That's what I'm saying.
Until we get to the point where we've got the proper AR, you just need to get one of those backpacks that has like the platform that comes around. You put your monitors on, just walk right outside with your full gaming setup, like backpack in the back, monitors up here. Be like, what up?
It's starting to sound like the Yu-Gi-Oh thing where you have the arms come out.
Magic Leap. You don't remember Magic Leap? They ended up
hell yeah. What a fucking cool, dude. That's insane.
Like, what you doing? I'm just mining some ore over here.
Yeah, just mine some ore, no big deal.
Yeah, like he's like, what? I mean, think about it, right? People were already doing it with fucking Pokemon Go in their phones. The next step is being attached to your face and having a wearable that weighs less. So if you don't think that people wouldn't can you imagine AR Pokemon Go MFers? People be jumping off of buildings, trying to catch fucking monsters and do all kinds of wild shit. Like, it's going to be wild. So I just see it's a natural extension.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of natural extensions, we're going to talk about this player-created economy a little bit. For the next question, the game features both EVE tokens and Lux currency with plans for player-created currencies. How do you prevent the economic complexity from overwhelming players who just want to survive in space?
I mean, that happens in EVE Online already. I mean, I can tell you right now that the way I play EVE is much, much different than the way that people who are like economic enthusiasts play EVE, right? Like, my interaction with the EVE Online economy is that when I lose a ship, which happens pretty frequently, I say, okay, I just lost a battleship. I'm going to go to, one of the market hubs. I'm going to see what the cheapest battleship is. I'm going to buy that one. I'm going to buy the stuff I need to, fit the ship. So it's got guns, it's got shield hardeners, it's got, all the propulsion modules, like everything that you need on it to make it do the thing that you wanted it to do good. And then I'm going to leave. And that's my interaction with the market. Sometimes I do the thing I need to do to get money in the game, and then I go and I buy things, and that's it. It's just the same as you walking down to the convenience store and buying things. You don't need to worry about the supply chain. You don't need to worry about the logistics. You don't need to worry about, pricing models or any of that stuff. Like, that's all somebody else who finds that interesting is the person going to do that. And the same is true for Frontier. I mean, we talk a lot, and DJN has already kind of mentioned this, but like the game, it really is multiple different games simultaneously. We talk a lot about how Frontier and EVE Online too, to a greater extent almost, is many different games in a trench coat trying to get into the movies. You know what I mean? I cannot tell you how many times I've used that turn of phrase, but it's a lot because it's true. I mean, the game is there are a lot of different ways to play the game. I mean, some people, their interaction with the game is just talking shit in Discord, or getting on Reddit and talking shit on Reddit. Like those are, is that playing the game? Like, because I kind of think it is. Like you're still interacting with the community, and is playing the game just like logging in and pressing buttons? Because there are some people who just log in and they sit in one space station all day long and they just look at like number tables for, you know, different buy and sell orders. Like that's all they do all day long, and they just make money that way. So yeah, I mean, that is an option that people will have if they want to do that sort of thing, if they find it interesting, if they think they're going to be good at it. But for 99% of players, the interaction they'll have is either like, I'm going to buy this, here's my money, thank you for your business, and I'm going to get out of here and see you later. And that'll be what it'll be.
I want to ask a very, very silly question. You're talking about like the lore and like the environment that is EVE Online. Is there like a weekly podcast where people are sitting in a spaceship or something and like talking about the market like they do on Spaces and stuff?
So the long and short of it is, yes, over time there have been a lot of different ones. There's one really good creator right now whose name is Oz, he's a German economist who plays EVE Online. And he was on the CSM with me a couple years ago. It's a 10-person elected player council that goes to that has like meetings with the developers, and it's a bunch of they do a bunch of different stuff. But he's in that group right now, and all he does on his show that he does, I'm pretty sure he just does it every week, is talk about the markets. And he just I think. See if I can find it. EVE Online.
Like today, these ships are on sale. You know, it's kind of
I mean, it is kind of like that. It's it's Oz_Eve is his channel, and if you go and watch it, like his videos are just him like looking at like market projections and looking at like pricing history, and it's a whole thing. Like he'll bring people on to talk about, he'll bring on big alliance leaders and big market traders to talk about like, hey, this big event happened in game fairly recently. How is that affecting your projections for the upcoming, for the upcoming, this upcoming quarter? You know what I mean? So he does a lot of stuff like that, which is super, super cool. I think he's one of my favorite creators in the game right now, and not just because I like him personally. He's a very cool dude. And this sort of thing I fully expect to see once Frontier goes live as well. I mean, the only difference is in EVE Online, all the economy stuff is controlled by us. We control all the levers. Whereas in Frontier, those levers are handed over to the players entirely. The players are given the ability to create their own currencies, to create their own markets. They can do all the things that they can do in EVE Online. The only difference is they'll control the levers instead of us.
This is him right here, right?
Yep, that's him. Yeah,
nice. So I give him a little shout out on the show, he's
a homie dude
now. But
he's a cool dude.
I'm always looking to connect with content creators of that nature. So I find that very interesting. That they kind of have this kind of like, because like I see spaces all the time where it's like markets up, markets down, like what's trending, what's hot, and it's like if there's an economy behind this game, like I'd love to hear like the insight stuff.
There have been people who have done like full dissertations for college classes and different research projects on the economics of EVE Online. I mean, all you have to do is go to YouTube and search like economics of EVE Online. There are like 30 different people who've done videos about it, because it is the first economy ever put into a video game space where the entire economy is built on player contributions and not just the devs sticking things out there for people to buy. There are things like that. There are sinks and faucets in the game, just like there are in any other game. But every single thing in the market, if you go to the market right now and you say, I want to buy a thing, right? I want to buy a Tempest Fleet issue battleship. I want to buy one of these ships. You can guarantee that ship was made by another player, and all the parts, the constituent like elements of it that went into it, those things were also all made by players. Now those and the resources that had to be mined or harvested to make those parts that then went into that ship when it was manufactured, those all had to be gathered by players. Like they're not, it doesn't just exist in the universe for people to, like you actually have to go out and get the stuff, bring it back, refine it, manufacture the parts, then manufacture the ship, then sell that. And that is a very cool thing. That's true in Frontier as well. I mean, that all these things are, very, very similar because they mimic like real life supply chains. That's just how that sort of thing works. But to the end user, to go back to the original question, to the end user, all you see is the final point of sale. You know what I mean? Like you don't see all that stuff unless you're involved in it. If you want to be involved in it, great. If you don't want to, you really don't have to. So that's pretty cool.
For the typical player, it's just absolutely abstracted away from them. No, you click button, you get thing. Bye bye.
I mean, like in the beginning of the game, you spent it's actually kind of interesting because EVE Online doesn't quite do this because EVE Online kind of throws you into a more finished universe state, whereas Frontier throws you into a state where you actually do need to go out and like build your very first ship. Like it is not handed to you. You have to go out there and like go find the ore that you need. And this is what you see when you're in the tutorial as well. Find this ore, go out there and kill these NPCs and get the stuff that they drop because you need that stuff to make this certain part that has to go into the ship AI, and then you do all these things, and then you manufacture a ship, and then you have a new ship. That's a cool thing because you do see a little bit of like what that process looks like. But then once you get to a certain point, you don't have to touch it at all if you don't want to. Somebody else can do that for you, and then you just pay them to do it.
Yeah, that's wild. We're talking about ships too, folks. We're talking about ships. That's kind of wild that it's just like you could get that. I'm still trying to get my mind over like how granular and how detailed they're. So basically, like the value of a ship, like if we're talking about value-wise, could be based on who made it, what parts, the scarcity of parts, including process. I mean, sounds like very industrious. Like you got a shipbuilding company. Basically, here's our resource manager, here's our labor, here's our guy who's looking, here's the right time to be able to build. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you're talking about like, if it's like 35 cents per kilowatt hour, and we start getting into like, is there municipalities I got to worry about? Is there like,
so it's really interesting.
A light bill I got to pay at the end of the month? Like, shit, this might be more than what I asked for.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that too, because one of the things that is cool about using chain tech for the back end of this thing is that because like at a certain point, it's not this way currently, but at a certain point, things like ships will be minted on chain. Those will all be on chain elements, right? They'll have things that you can then track between different sellers. So one of the things right now that EVE Online does is when you build a ship, it just exists as an entity, right? Just like a game entity. And when a person gets that ship, they can then basically assemble it. And when they assemble it, it turns into an item in the database. But before that, it's a different kind of item, and those items are all the same. So it only becomes a constituent thing once a player has turned it into a thing. Otherwise, it's just you have, to put it like this, you have a stack of cars. You pull one out, you say, I'm going to put the key in it. You put the key in it, it becomes your car. Well, the moment you take your key out of it, it stops being your car and just becomes a car, right? So it enters in this other stack. What chain tech allows us to do is to say, okay, well, actually, all of these cars have their own keys. We all know what they all are. They're all individual things. And so then you, as a manufacturer of those cars, of the ships, just to make sure I'm not mixing my metaphors, those ships, what you can do is say, hey, my ships are a higher quality than other people's do. We put more time and care and love into our ships. In fact, we can ascertain that these ships are a higher quality than old Joe Schmo down the road over there who's kicking out these budget ships. In fact, it has our stamp of our stamp of approval on it. You can see on chain that this is a ship that we built, 2-3 years ago. All that data is preserved because it's in an immutable record. It can't be changed. As unlike in EVE, where if you take the key out, it just gets reverted back to a standard object. It's never a standard object in Frontier, and a lot of things can be that way. In fact, it'd be like if you found a car on the street and you're like, oh, this is my car now, and you get in it, you start driving, and then you go to look up the history of it and find out that it was like the car that Franz Ferdinand was driving in. That's a weird turn of phrase, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's these are the kind of things that like that history is always preserved. And a lot of people think it's super, super cool because then, if something significant happens, the value of the thing that you're now, that was involved in that significant thing, it becomes more valuable by association. So like,
absolutely. Absolutely. Who owns something could make it more valuable in the future if you own it. Absolutely.
Exactly.
I understand that completely.
All right. We are. Oh, go ahead, Otto. You about to
No,
say
I was like, no, go. You got it.
I was gonna say, I see CTP. He put DJ. He put the 45-minute breakdown of the Frontier economy in the chat.
sick as
Oh,
hell.
no need to watch that video. Apparently, we're doing a 45-minute breakdown of the Frontier economy right here on Boss Battles, which is gonna get me over to the next question. So, Eve Frontier, I mean, you kind of touched on this. Requires players to collaborate and rebuild civilization, but also features permadeath and resource scarcity. So how do you balance the cooperation incentives with survival competition?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think again, it's just like anything else, right? Like one of the people, when games are too easy, they don't drive engagement, because if like I'm imagining like a clicker game, right? You load up a clicker game and you just start clicking, and then every so often you get a thing. You're like, oh yeah, I got a thing. Like that's kind of fine, but anybody who's ever played a Souls game, for example, right? Like I'm a big fan of the Dark Souls series. I played a lot of it. I played way too much Elden Ring. I played way too much Night Rain recently. And we'll probably be doing that this weekend as well. Anybody who's played those games knows that one of the things that is really compelling and is kind of this shared source of like almost a shared trauma between all the different people who play those games, is that moment when you struggle against a certain boss for a while, and then after ages and ages and ages you finally get it. And there's that moment when you get it and you have that moment of success, and it only is that good because it was really hard to get there. It's the triumph of overcoming hardship that makes it worthwhile. So we've found, and this is not just true about our game, but it is definitely true about our game, that if it's too easy, it doesn't mean anything to anybody, right? If it's too easy, it's just like, okay, this is just another, simple, meaningless objective that I'm going to do in a second and then move on. But if something is hard, like if survival is hard, then the moment where you realize that you put down that first, the first gate, or you build the first, major structure, and you're sitting there looking at it going like, okay, yes, I've done this thing. I got through the woods. I'm out the other side, right?
But it's also the fact that together we are strong, right? So you kind of teaming up, joining one of the tribes. I mean, yes, it's scarcity, but doing it, trying to survive by yourself, it's much. I mean, it's like in real life, right? A group of the tribe is kind of doing the the exploration, finding new sites, then sending out the miners, So a bunch of us are going out, killing NPCs together, to gather feral data. So in order for us to buy these lenses, etc. So it's basically teaming up, creating civilization. Your tribe, which hopefully will become a big civilization, a big tribe down the line. So I think it's you kind of get forced into creating this civilization, and that's kind of where I think the balance is pretty intelligently laid out. Yes, it scares, and it kind of pushes you to team up with others, and because together we are strong.
So form a gang, folks, is what he's saying. Form a gang. Yeah. We've got EVE Online, Bloods and Crips. You know what I'm saying? It's good. No, I'm just playing. Yeah. We don't want to do all that, but it's true though, right? I mean, like you said, it's like real life. You're finding people with a similar vision, right? You have a macro vision of what it is you're trying to accomplish. If your things align and you're like, that works for me, right? Like a workout buddy, you're going to the gym or whatever. Like, yo, how are you trying to get buff? Hey, man, yeah, me too. Cool. Now we're gonna go bench press 225 on warm up. That's 245 plates for those that are small out there.
225 on warm up. Shit,
but you still need a spotter. You need a spotter, right? So together, you want
225? No, a spotter for two. No, that's when you start. Yeah, that's when you start getting to the threes.
You can bench press 2 plates.
That's 245s on each side with the standard Olympic bar. It's 225. I got unk strength.
That's good.
You can't? Don't you go to the gym every day?
No, I can't. How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
Ain't no way you can bench press 225, bro.
It's fucking shredded.
Watch what happens.
That's good.
Yo, put it.
I believe him. He's shredded.
Video where it didn't happen.
All right, didn't happen. All right, so next question. We've got CCP has been running periodic free trials, but the core game remains behind a paywall during development. What metrics prove the survival MMO model is working beyond initial founder sales? I mean, I would just say 20 plus fucking years, but you go ahead and answer that one.
I mean, the thing is, it really depends, right? Because when, like, for example, our numbers are down from the last time we did a free trial, but the reason for that is just because we haven't, like, we're in the middle of a production cycle, right? So periodically we do these production cycles where we're aiming to do a big production push at the end of it and have this bigger release. That release is coming, but it's not here yet. So in the meantime, we've done a reset of the universe so we can test a couple different things, but the numbers aren't quite as high. But what we've noticed is every time we have one of those big pushes, we are, like, our numbers go up by about 40%, which is kind of nuts. So it is encouraging to see both that there's activity constantly in our Discord and in the game. Even if that activity isn't consistently high, we're not expecting it to be right now. Like, we're still in alpha, we're still in the development phase. Like, if this became a problem, when we launched, then yeah, we'd have to address it. But right now, the fact that people are interested at all in what is still an alpha product is honestly kind of impressive. I mean, there are tens of thousands of people in our Discord right now who are all, who are founders and who are, committed to this thing. And that is exciting. They don't all have to be playing all the time. They're the fact that they have shown that they are at least a little bit interested is meaningful.
We should mention that we do have this really cool point system as well, which kind of incentivize, to getting on top of the leaderboards, etc. The cycles that we're talking about. And in these cycles, we have these quests, in-game tasks. It's tribe, it's solo play tasks, it's tribe tasks, and during each cycle you earn these grace. We call it grace points, and when we at the end of each cycle, these points, grace points, gets converted into Eve points, which are persistent and will be persistent all the way up until we go on mainnet. So it's a great way, in my opinion, because you get a head start. That's for sure. I mean, the soft skills that you're getting during this founder access, and also if you do those quests in the mission hub, which is also now in game finally in this cycle, there's some really cool bragging incentives, leaderboard incentives. When it comes to this point system. So.
Mm-hmm.
Otto, we should give away a fucking founder's pass or something. That'd be kind of cool. We should figure that out.
Hell yeah.
We couldn't give away Battlefield 6. What the hell, chat? We couldn't do that last time.
No, we did, just not on the show.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
We did it on another thing, but yeah.
I like Battlefield 6. Yeah, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, we got. Let me check. Let me check real quick. Let's see how many days are left on that countdown. 29 days till Battlefield 6.
It's got him down. He's like on the arm. He's got little pen check marks, like when you're.
I got that countdown app. It's counting it down. Also, 3 days until I'm 36.
Ooh, big 36. It's not bad.
Well,
I
still have most of my black hairs, so that's all that matters.
Bro, every day I wake up, I look in the mirror, I'm like, I don't know about all that. I get it.
Yep.
Man, I know. Hey, well, I got a couple of gray ones popping out, so I mean, there's that.
It's coming.
Yo, let me check McChillin real quick. Of course we do.
Yo, McChillin.
Welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
McChillin, what's going on? We got to get McChillin. McChillin, I think McChillin would be a Eve Frontier guy. He's the guy that's programming gates for sure. He's programming gates. It should be natural for Web3. It's extremely gated, so this is natural language. All right, last question. Boss number 2. You guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
It's good.
All right, let's run this thing. Your community includes both EVE Online veterans and blockchain gaming newcomers. How do you manage expectations between these very different player groups? I think you sort of touched, but
we don't.
Yeah, I mean it is really, really hard. You know what I mean? Like, because people are expecting different. Like, traditional Web 2 gamers have a very specific kind of expectation when it comes to new games and the development process of games. And people who primarily come from Web 3 spaces have a much different expectation. So what we've had to do, and this isn't really, I mean, it is an answer, but it may not be like, what we've had to do is kind of say the expectations are going to be what they're going to be. Right? People are going to come into this thing with their own, preconceived notions of what it should be. We just have to do our thing and like just make the game we want to make and move forward from there. I mean, the worst thing we could do is try and like do the dance, right? Like where you're trying to appeal to everybody all the time and check all the little boxes and do all the little, like, if you do that, you end up with a product that just like it's so milk toast and lame. That is not what you should be aiming for. You should have a strong vision of the kind of game that you want to make. You should then take that strong vision and then use it to make the game you want to make, and then let people think what they're going to think. Like, I can tell you right now that we have both people in Web 2 spaces who don't understand why we're making a crypto game, or don't understand why we're using all the Web 2 stuff and think it's going to be DOA as a result. Then we have people in the Web 3 spaces who don't think it's Web 3 enough and think that we need to lean harder into it and think it's going to be DOA as a result. So like both of those extremes exist and they're very, very vocal. So like you can't hope to appease both of them. You just kind of have to shoot your shot down the middle, find a spot that is comfortable for you. And if that space is appealing to one more than the other, it just is what it's going to be. You know what I mean? You can't.
It's literally what Mick Chillin was saying in
literally
chat.
he's in the chat.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them fucking hate it. I'm gonna be real with you. Like a lot of them fucking think it's fucking stupid. But what's really, really interesting is that number is decreasing slowly.
Yeah.
And a lot of them may not may not admit to it, but I can tell you right now that we do like pretty frequent streams now. Like almost every Friday, we do streams for Frontier. We're doing one tomorrow too. I think I already mentioned that, but we're doing a stream tomorrow. And when we first started doing this, people were rough. Those audiences were not cool. And you just kind of have to like it's a matter of sorry, there's a fly. There was a matter of proving what you were trying to do and proving that you're not just out there to like rip people off, because people are so there's this expectation. And again, this is why I have so much frustration for so many other games in the industry and in this space, because they have really set a lot of people's expectations for what this kind of thing is going to be. And that sucks, because we're very clearly, or at least we're trying to make people know very clearly that that's not what we're aiming to do here. We're trying to do basically everything we've already talked about. And at the end of the day, if you think it's cool, then great. I can tell you that the number of people who are as vitriolic as they have been in the past has steadily decreased over time, to the point where now I can do those streams every Friday and I don't hear a fucking word about it. People are just like, you know what I mean?
And at the end of the day, it's just going to be noise, right? Like it's just going to be noise, and like people are just going to adopt the game and play it, and they're going to figure out like we're just complaining about nothing. That's what it comes down to.
And the thing is, what I think is so beautiful with the kind of how the game is designed, when it comes to the blockchain aspect of things, it's so seamless. So if you kind of don't know what you're looking for, you wouldn't actually you wouldn't realize that it. I kind of had to kind of check, is this structure actually on chain? And then I checked, and I went over to Pyro testnet to see that there are smart contracts running in the background. Yes, there are. So I mean, if you are not into Web3s, and if it's not for you and you're not interested, it doesn't really, you don't really need to touch it, or you can play the game without even knowing it that you are doing it.
And here's the big thing. The big thing is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, but then you have the other extreme, the other aspect of things where you can. I did actually post a link in the Twitch chat where you actually, where you can actually code yourself, where you can, deploy smart contracts to interact with these smart assemblies in the game. So it's from in my point of view, who I actually have a background in the Web3 space, fell into rabbit hole back in 2017. I've been a co-founder as well. Oh shit! I forgot my thread.
Been there, man.
Man, it's getting late. Well, but anyways, I mean, yeah, exactly. So taking a step back and seeing, you can, this game is actually kind of designed in a way for both crowds. It is,
I think the big thing too is that at the end of the day, you got to make the game you're going to make, right? There are a lot of games out there that I think are probably great games that are really, really well made, put a lot of love and attention into, and they're just not the game for me. And that's true for everybody. I mean, people like, I really love city builders. I love City Skylines. I loved SimCity. You know, a lot of the even like the more finicky like Satisfactory, Factorio, like all these little like like structured development games. I love them. I love them. It's just like that part of like that. My fucking likes the micromanage autism kicks in whenever I see those things, and it's just like hell yeah, this is gaming. You know what I mean? And some people can't stand that shit, and I don't blame them for it. And there will be people who look at our game too the same way. They're like, this is not the game for me. And like what I've tried to tell people is like, it's fine. Like you don't have to love it. It's if you don't want to play it. I mean, I want you to try it out. As you know, I want people to want to play the game. But like, if it's not for you, that's okay. I'm not gonna force you. I'm not gonna like bend your arm. I'm not your dad. Like I can't tell you what to do. Like if you like the game, play the game. If you don't, then don't. Like what I found is when people get in there and they have a chance to see it for the first time, especially if they get a chance to play it for a little while, especially people who, I mean, you know, I have had people who came from EVE Online who was like, this is never going to work. This is the dumbest thing you've ever done. Like, this is a stupid project. And be like, okay, I understand why I get it, man. I get it. Just try it out. And if you still feel that way afterwards, then I will not hold it against you. It's totally your opinion. And then they play it and they're like, oh, okay, fine. I kind of get it. And I'm like, yes, exactly. You kind of get it. Like, you don't have to love it, just to see if you like it. And if you get to the point where the game is good enough for a lot of people, and you know, and more people, like, then it just like that kind of vibe carries. So we're not going to build a game that's for everyone. We're not going to appeal to every person in both audiences. But if we can find enough people who this game scratches that itch in their mind for, then I think we've done the right job. I cede my time.
Nice. There is a. All right, Councilman, you have the floor. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, no, we're gonna start.
Very good.
We are gonna be jumping into one of my favorite. I should probably just Hotto say he says it better than me. I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we're
Hotto.
taking a little quick ad break real quick, and then we're going to go into the lightning round. So
Yeah.
don't
Actually
go
really
anywhere,
cool, yeah.
folks. Stick around.
I love the lightning round. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Foolish crypto hodl. Foolish crypto hodl. With a name like that, this guy thinks he's a crypto guru, but he's really just a shit gamer. Isn't this the guy who thinks a minimap is a requirement for a game? Fool! It doesn't surprise me that this loser quit Valorant! Don't be like him, gamers. Get Slurfy. It'll make your gaming experience over 9,000! Drink Slurfy. Enjoy the blast. Know your place, gamers! Know your place! Follow for more content! Or your...
I like what you got there. Let me show you what I got. Check this.
Slurfy.
Catalyst.
Me and Ron are talking shit to each other in the chat. This is hilarious. Shout outs to production team for those advertisements. Shout outs to me for the voice acting. JK loves the ad, so you know that's all I
I
need.
can't play mouse and keyboard, by the way. You dig?
No, you can't. You like, aren't you and like Cade always asking for controller support in every Web3 game? Isn't that like
The only
all-
game I play controller right now is 2XKO. That's the only game I'm playing with the controller. Everything else is mouse and
Well,
keyboard.
it's a fighting game, so that's expected. But I'm talking about like shooters, bro.
What shooter? Which shooter do you want to play that doesn't be played by 10-year-olds like Valorant? What game do you want to play?
Any shooter. Call of Duty, Battlefield 6. I mean, you could go down the list. Any shooter should be played with mouse and keyboard. Anyways, We can
Quake 2
discuss this
railgun.
later.
All right.
We can discuss this later. It's time for the lightning round. I don't know why that was that shit. It makes me
Really
laugh.
good.
Lightning round.
All right. So on this portion of the show, there's not going to be any judgment here. No voting. I'm going to do the first 5 questions. These are like, quick hitters, and then Ron will do the next 5. The first one says, if you could program any real world object as a smart assembly, what would it be?
Go for it, Degent.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Kind of an automated mining thing.
Yeah.
I guess.
Automated mining.
Yeah. I want oil rigs. Oil rigs would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oil rigs. Yeah. Money printer right there.
Oh, yeah.
Which team member would be most likely to accidentally delete an entire SAR system?
That would be me.
I was going to CCP overload, but yeah, you can say him.
I was asking for some commands, and they were like, "We're not going to give you these because they will actually erase the entire universe."
I'm going to say overload because he has done this before. I think he
Oh, really?
He once deleted a star on EVE Online, so I'm going to say him.
You guys have 2 Thanoses on your team. Cool, got it. Question 3 says, shill E-Frontier like you're a desperate space colonist sending an SOS.
Okay. All right. Listen. Like you're. Oh my gosh, this is an insane one. Like you're a space colonist sending a desperate SOS. All right. It's been 75 days here alone on the frontier, and I'm just asking for anybody out there who's listening, please come and bring me any amount of water ice. This joke really only makes sense if you understand what the things about the game, but any amount of water ice would be very cool. Then I could get out of this fucking star system. I've been trapped here for 75 days. I don't know how much longer I can take it. I've been orbiting the same planet for 16 weeks. That's way longer than 75 days. I don't know how math works. I'm losing my mind here. Please, God, come save me. Please. Also, play eFrontier. eFrontier.com/founder access.
Perfect. That was great. Cinema.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute cinema. All right. Next
Last
question.
minute show was great.
We do our best. We do our best. Oh, yeah.
Next question says, what's the weirdest player created currency you've seen in testing?
And you know the answer to this one.
No.
That's corpses.
Yeah. With
Yes, corpses.
with smart gates, you mean?
Yeah. So players figured out that you could, because corpses are a thing that exists in game. When you die, you drop a corpse. It's the corpse of your character. Players then start scooping up those corpses and realize that they could use those things as currency. And they used them as a way to open up certain gates. Where if you went up to a gate and they had a little vending machine next to it, you drop the corpses at the gate and the gate would let you through. Yep. It's that one. Dead bodies.
What?
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
All right. Hado, you're muted.
You are,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I'm muted. If E-Frontier players took over Earth government, how long until chaos?
Oh,
I think we
immediately.
just found out that answer.
Yeah, immediately.
I think we just found out.
They would be they'd be standing outside of the maternity wards with guns, waiting for new babies to spawn in. It'd be unhinged.
That is the gaming community. All right, Ramen, you get the next 5.
I'm traumatized. But yeah, complete this. The biggest difference between EVE Online and EVE Frontier players is
patience. Yeah, probably patience, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Frontier players are kind of in it for the long. I mean, not to say that EVE Online players aren't, but EVE Online players are less willing to change, and partially because the game's been around for such a long time. But Frontier players are fully expecting big changes to happen all the time and accept it willingly. So I'm going to say that willingness to change. That's the difference.
Got it. We got the ADHD crowd, and then we got the not so much crowd. I feel that. Oh, this one's going to be interesting. Which team member would survive the longest in an actual space survival condition?
That must be Helgi, right?
Yeah, one of our CCP relativistic or CCP wizard. We have two astrophysicists on the team, and one of those two would probably get a few. I think CCP relativistic probably gets that one for sure.
Hmm.
You got astrophysicists.
Yeah, two of them. It's fucking wild. One of them works on the One of them works the physics engine. The other one works on universe generation.
Well, I mean,
Where'd you work? NASA and EVE Online. Yeah.
It's actually one of the pillars in the game, right? To have it as realistic as possible, and then you kind of need those kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
It's funny you say work for NASA. CCP Overload, our product manager, actually did work for the European Space Agency before he came to CCP. So that's pretty wild.
Actually, yes. It's like, but hey, let's do game stuff. I dig it. That's freaking awesome. All right. So next question: if you had to, so these are dumb, but they're funny. If you had to explain blockchain gaming to your grandmother, what analogy would you use?
That'd be a wild one. She's dead. No.
Same.
Same.
I would say it's like, it's like a casino, right? And not in the way that it's like gambling all the time, but like you walk in, you are given a certain currency that you can only use inside that space. And then when you're done, you go up to the teller and you give them the your chips. They give you back something that you came in with, and then you leave. That's what that is. And very, very, very broad strokes. She would understand that analogy.
Yeah, and at least casinos are tied and pegged to actual USDC and not some inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, no, that's a good one. All grandmas love. I think it was either that or a bingo one. All right, next question.
Yeah, bingo would be
bingo.
good.
Bingo would be. I don't know how it works, but bingo is always good for old people. What's the most ridiculous smart assembly creation you've witnessed? I'm sure there's some crazy ones.
We mentioned the corpses, right?
We did mention the corpses for sure. That one was pretty nuts.
Pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I think the tournament system was pretty crazy. So it was the YG. Was it the YGG guys? It was back before they were YGG. No, it wasn't. It was
no, it was some of the guys in Telegram. I can't remember. Well, I actually asked which tribe they were from. They didn't want to tell.
Yeah, I remember who it was. So
basically,
go ahead.
No, but basically, what they're kind of looking for was to kind of create a battlefield, PvP. So they kind of built tons of smart gates, kind of a big project, in order to get other people easily in, just to battle out. So it's kind of like, as we mentioned, you kind of build your own thing within the game. And some of these guys, they love PvP and battling it out. So hey, you know what? Let's take on this project and make sure that build as many smart gates as possible in order to create this battlefield and battle things out. So I think that was pretty cool, because that was a little bit of a larger scale. But this is nothing compared to what have happened on EVE Online, where was it 8,000 people battling it out
pretty frequently. There are fights within the last couple of weeks where they were 1,000 on each side, which is kind of nuts.
8,000 players playing at one time, battling.
Yeah,
granted, they're not
crazy.
It was like it was a pretty expensive battle as well. If you calculate the ISK,
there have been so many. I mean, there was a fight the other day that was it was over 1 trillion ISK. It was a pretty honestly. It was kind of a pretty last minute engagement. It just kind of cropped up out of nowhere. That was one of the ones that I was at, and it was over 1 trillion ISK in in-game currency, which would have, if you count, if you do the conversion for it, it's something like it's like $5,000 USD in that evening. They just went up in smoke. So that was pretty cool.
We talked about smart assemblies, but we also have the modability, and the extensibility of the game. And one thing I thought was really, really cool, seeing a guy running Doom inside the game. I mentioned this earlier. I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but and seeing people building casinos within the game. Dexes within the game. So you both have the smart assemblies, the smart objects. So the smart assemblies, and you know also will have the smart character down the line, but then you have the modability where you can build stuff within the game. And just seeing other games running in there was for me like, wow, can you actually do that? And that was my first week at CCP. That was actually during FanFest, during the hackathon, where I saw a guy was running. That wasn't Doom. That was another game he was running.
Yeah, well, they did get Doom running in the game, which is nuts. But a guy built a game. It was effectively like Pokemon Go inside of the game, and then speculated that somebody else could build another game inside of that game, inside of our game, which is like a
Gameception.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, honestly, like a battler for those same Pokemon, quote unquote. It was a little MacGuffin kind of thing, but yeah, that is because you have a game state that people interact with. You can then build another game state underneath that people can interact with inside the game state, and then it's fully feasible to build another game state underneath that as well. And then just down as far as you want to go, like wild stuff, dude.
Now that's the metaverse right there.
Hell yeah.
That's literally. He said casino, so we already know where you got to go. Between casino and a ramen shop, it's just which would you want? You want debt or do you want high sodium blood pressure? I got you on both of them. Last question for the lightning round. Then we're gonna hop into boss number 3. This is gonna be great. If eFrontier had a reality TV show, what would it be called, and who would host it?
That would be CCP Jotun hosting it. That's for sure. But don't we already have one?
Oh shit!
It would be a Real Housewives show for sure. It would 100% be a Real Housewives show. Or like I'm trying to think. Fuck me.
Real Housewives of eFrontier.
Real Housewives of eFrontier. Yeah, it'd be like maybe like a Big Brother show where they're just like absolutely vicious with each other. It'd be a Real Housewives show. I take that back. It'd definitely be a Real Housewives show for sure.
That's hilarious.
You could create a reality TV show through a smart assembly.
You absolutely could. You could broadcast the game. Yes, you could.
Now you're catching on.
Hey, I mean, listen, I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm not really an MMO guy. I didn't think that it was going to really click, but just I've just never seen like this amount of granular detail. Things that I would overlook, like, oh, you ran out of water because you're not hydrated, so you fucking died. Like shit like that. Like, I wouldn't expect it. And so I think that's why people have been around so long. Like you said, I'm starting to understand it's like when you go and you buy a car, or if you've ever put in wrench time and actually built your car from like the frame up and stripped it down and poured 15 the frame and did the brakes and dropped the motor with the cherry. There's something a little bit different because of the process that was involved to build that. So I kind of see where it makes sense now,
It's the difference between like buying a laptop and going outside and building your own PC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same type of thing.
Yeah, same kind of thing.
Okay, I like it. It's starting to make it. Damn it, folks! If I turn to an MMO guy because of freaking eFrontier, I'm coming back. I'm blaming all of them. I'm blaming them all.
I accept that blame. I'll take that.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Job complete. Challenge. Nice. All right, we're gonna keep it pushing to the boss number 3. What do we got for him, Hato?
Yeah, we got another little sneak peek of boss number 3. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions here. Actually, 5 questions here. So these are going to be like the most difficult questions you're going to see on this show. So let's get into it.
All good.
By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed the theme behind today's episode with the bosses, but
it's pretty good.
It's there.
Yeah.
Not bad.
On this round, by the way, chat, if you guys don't know, me and Ramen are going to be alternating between the two. So keep your eyes peeled for that poll to go live here in a little bit. But the first question says the survival MMO space is extremely competitive with established titles like Rust and Ark. What makes you believe a blockchain-based space survival game can capture significant market share?
I think that it is a matter less of like competing with other survival games and more competing, like appealing to a certain kind of gamer, right? Like people like it is, the game is not like Rust, right? Rust is a realistic survival game, and Rust is a kind of game where you play it a certain way, and it has a lot of comparisons to other kind of games, and people like those kind of games. Frontier is like EVE Online and scratches that kind of itch for those people who want that kind of like granularity in the space environment, right? I mean, there are, a fair number of space games, certainly, but we're really trying to capture not just the feeling of like having to scrounge and claw for every little bit and survive in a hostile universe, but also the joy of exploration, like the you are given effectively an endless, or not endless, but functionally endless, this huge map, this huge galaxy that you can explore in. And we want to give people the ability to get out there and see things and do, interact with the universe in a way that is both exploratory and then also at a certain point, permanent. Like we want people to be able to say, hey, I crossed the whole universe to get to this place. I'm going to set down roots here because I think this is a good place to live. That's kind of the dream we're trying to capture. And for a lot of people, that is the joy of it, right? Like crossing the ocean, finding a new place to settle down, build your little homestead. That homestead turns into a town. The town turns into the city turns into the megalopolis. Next thing you know, you've got a fucking nation. You know what I mean?
And then you got the biggest differentiator. It's the blockchain aspect of things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, being able to program is a huge deal. I mean, that there's a whole, like, being able to program in a way that, like, EVE Online has always supported, sometimes more than others, our third-party developers who use the EVE Online API to, build these really cool tools that people use to interact with the game universe. All we're really doing is giving those same developers the ability to interact with game state at the same time. So they're not just reading the API, they can also write to the game state at the same time, which is pretty cool. And that kind of thing doesn't exist anywhere else. So for people who find that interesting, this is the game that they can play that will allow them to do that.
I also want to throw on there, I don't think that Rust or Arc or games of that nature has ever put another game inside the same game. So
probably not. Probably not.
Just want to mention that as well.
Yeah.
We kick it over to Ramen for the next question.
What we got?
All right, this kind of actually ties into it. So you're promising players can eventually mod and program game elements while maintaining MMO balance and security. Mm-hmm. So I guess the natural question is, like, how do you prevent player modifications from breaking the shared universe or like creating exploits?
We got to have rules, right? And we have, I mean, it goes beyond just like exploits and like game breaking things. Those are obviously huge deals and things that we need to account for. But like, we don't want people to be doing illegal shit inside the game. We don't want people to be using it as a vehicle for money laundering, for example. Like we have to have like systems in place to keep that kind of shit from happening. I mean, and it's a real concern across. There are probably other projects who don't think it's a big deal and will probably be willing to. But like, if you want the game to last a long time, you need to make sure the feds are not knocking down your door because somebody is like, using your game to, shovel dark money towards, a slavery ring or something. That's pretty fucked up. So we have a lot of very smart people who are constantly thinking about this sort of thing and putting a lot of time and effort into it. And the long and short of it is, for in-game stuff, for like, game breaking modifications, it shouldn't be a problem, because what we'll do is we call them digital physics. And basically it's a set of rules about how things can interact with the universe. Right, you can't exceed the speed of light. You can't, do gravity is this. Thermodynamics works in this way. Like all of those things will have hard and set rules, so that you can't just go in and say, "Hey, I want a gun that fires a bullet that does a zillion damage." Like that's not quite how it works. So there will be restrictions, but restrictions that make sense physically. Right, those restrictions will not just be like, "Hey, we want to, tone this thing down." It'll be like, you physically in the universe cannot, exceed this speed without also being this size. And if you try and do that, like you can't. That's just not a thing that happens, right? You can put a bigger and bigger engine in your car, but at a certain point, like, you're not actually getting faster. You're just getting heavier, right? That is kind of how it works. Hello, Cat.
But then I think also kind of the open source thing, open review can easily, detect vulnerabilities, and improve security as well. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's a challenge, right? It is. And
it's fucking hard, dude. Like, it's something you got to be aware of. Hopefully we'll be aware of it.
That cat is engaged farming right now, or farming
Yeah.
like crazy.
Or farming the
She's vibing,
stream.
dude.
I'm gonna pass the question.
She's mad that I'm not paying
Otto.
attention to her.
Digitstat. Is it Digit or Digi? I don't know. Mr. Stack said, Ramen Cash, you look delicious.
Okay,
You like how I did my hair today? Check
You
this
want to
out.
address that, Ramen?
You want me to undress that? Nope.
Oh God.
That's not what I said. Let's move on to the next question here. And it says, most blockchain games have failed to retain players long term. Once token incentives diminish, what happens to eFrontier if the EVE token loses value or blockchain interest wanes?
I mean, if the token loses value, then it just becomes more available to more people, and they can, it'll have, it's a utility token. It'll have more value. It'll have a function in game. It'll just make it more available for people in game.
Yep.
So like that is the benefit of that sort of thing. Where like if the token is more valuable, then it's more valuable in game, and people will be trading it. But if it's less valuable, then just more people have access to it, and
more abundance, basically.
or abundance. I mean, the thing is, people keep coming back because people won't be coming back because the hope is that like while the token is the token, it's not going to be the reason why people show up to play the game. People will show up to play the game because the game is fun. There will be people who show up just to speculate on the token, for sure. Like, we know that's going to happen. But like that shouldn't matter, because like if the game is still fun and people are engaged with it and people are still actively playing the game, then that economy is going to moderate itself to a certain point. But yeah, go ahead, DJ. You were about to say something.
No, I was just kind of thinking and taking parallels to EVE Online with ISK and
Plex. Yeah.
But then again, because every single aspect of the game, everything that you do within eFrontier is somehow connected to the economy, right? Despite the fluctuation of a token, I would just say that it's as I said just earlier, that would just give the players that are there for just playing the game more abundance of assets in the game. But I mean, check out the 45-minute rundown of the economy, because it's a pretty complex system. I should mention, CCP Calera, who is our head of economy, he used to work at the Central Bank of Iceland, and has a PhD in some mathematics. I don't know, but I've seen some papers from him. I don't understand shit of what is.
Yeah, he's a whole different level.
But it's a very, very, but and again, we are still exploring and testing things out. So it's early. We are in the second cycle of the alpha, and it might be a year, perhaps even longer, until we launch the full game. So there's a lot of testing that we're doing as well. But yeah.
All right. Let's kick it over to Ramen for the second to last question of the show.
All right. CCP raised $40 million from Anderson Foro. 40. You guys hiring? I'm just kidding. $40 million. Oh my gosh, for blockchain gaming ambitions. How do you? This is the question. How do you balance investor expectations for Web3 adoption with creating a compelling game experience? That's the question I always ask.
Well, this is not really our table, is it?
It's not. I mean, the truth is, this is a little above our out of our wheelhouse. But I mean,
it's above your pay grade. Yeah.
A little bit above our pay grade. Yeah, but like I think this is
What's
true.
your take on it?
My take is that if obviously it's the same as any other business proposition, right? If you want to make money in any industry, you have to be providing a service or a product that people find compelling. And if you stop doing that, then it's not going to be it's not a successful way to run a business. So I mean, I've said it a couple times, and I keep saying it because our game director, CCP Goodfellow, repeats this constantly. The game has to be fun. The game has to be fun first. It always has to be fun. If it's not fun, then nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how much investor money you've got. Doesn't matter how many people you've got on your team. Doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry, how many successful projects you've had. None of that matters. If the game's not fun, no one's going to play it. Like, you could have the best pedigree in the world, and if the game is a boring slog, then you could pump money into it for ages, and it will not make a difference. It will not be a successful in-game result. So that is the focus for our team as always, is to make the game fun to play, make it interesting, give people a lot of things to work on, and the rest will follow that. You know what I mean?
No, that's a great answer. You know, and when it comes to money spending too, and like your consumer base, right? That just being in it for a long time, prices really only ever an issue if they feel that there's an absence of value, right? And I think that extends over to products or services or whatever it is you deliver. I'm only complaining about price if I don't think that there's a value, and that doesn't mean it's not going to be valuable for everybody, just for me specifically, right? But that's why you find your target market, your people, and you cater to them, which I think you guys have, like you said, you have a specific player base that finds this enjoyable, and so it's extended. I like that. All right, Hado from the Botto, let's go.
All right, final question on today's show. By the way, guys, the poll is live. You have like maybe 2 or 3 minutes to vote. I don't know. They don't show us timers here on Twitch, but that bar is looking mighty small. So go and vote if you can. Question says, the plan to eventually make EVE Frontier decentralized and autonomous suggests reducing CCP's control over the game. How do you ensure quality and prevent chaos when players gain development access to a shared MMO world?
It is a leap of faith, and it is a tricky thing to do, and it is a thing that is not being done without a lot of time and consideration put into it. But at the end of the day, you have to, as developers, we want to continue to be the studio that develops EVE Frontier, and the hope is that our players will think that we are the studio that should be developing EVE Frontier. But if we get to the point where the players no longer think that, then that's on us. You know what I mean? Like we're not, if we're not creating a compelling product for players.
Did we lose him?
No, it's me.
Oh,
we're good. That's all I gotta say. Like we if we do a good job, this does not matter, I guess is what this gets down to.
Yeah, but it's also kind of down to responsibility, for the players. So yeah,
heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
Yeah. Big Chillin has asked, have you asked what the cat's name is?
Kikimora is her name. She's a nightmare creature that lives in my house and tries to destroy my stuff. But she's kind of cute, so I keep her around. Huge pain in the ass, though, as kids often are.
I think she's like, "Oh, you've been talking for so long. Feed me that."
That's exactly what it is. She's saying, "Feed me." She's not feed me. She's got food. It's give me attention. She wants me to fucking. She found a bread, like a little bread tie that you use to like tie up bags of bread. And I don't know where she got it from. I think she pulled it out of the trash. And she then has like been chewing on it for the last couple of days, just like playing with it. And she keeps bringing it to me and dropping it next to me because she wants me to throw it so she can go catch it and run, like bring it back, which is cool, very fun. Except she'll do it in the middle of the night while I'm like asleep in bed, and she'll like shove it underneath me because she wants me to like pick it up and throw it. But it's like a sharp metal end, and I like roll over on that shit. I found it like in my back the other night. Like I rolled over and I was like, "What's stabbing me?" It's the cat like clawing me, and I reach over and I pull out like a long piece of metal from my back. I'm like, "Fuck off, cat!"
Your cat now does acupuncture,
and she's just sitting there like, "Yeah, bro, you gotta throw that shit or not?" I'm like, "Bro, come on, dude."
Where's the cat background CCP?
Oh my god, I do have a cat background. Let's
do it. Let's do it.
Oh my god. Hang on. We're gonna find it real quick.
You've been exposed. You've been exposed.
If this lasts more than like 5 seconds, you feel free to skip away from me because I have so many fucking pictures that I've used as backgrounds before.
For sure. We can go into our results portion of the show while you pull that up, and got to set the mood a little bit here and talk about how our guests did today against the bosses. Totally not copyrighted music.
Intense.
Chat outs to you, by the way. W stream, W chatter. Let me pull this up real quick in the comment section. Water, thank you for the kind grace from you. Appreciate it. Also, shout outs to the CEO of Catalyst saying, everyone watching, don't forget about the giveaway on our X account. Keep the X account at the Catalyst OG. And there is the lovely kitty in the background. She's made her presence known, and now the world knows. Give me human. On boss number 1,
Come on.
you guys scored an 84 out of 100.
80 what?
84.
84. But we need an 85, right? No?
You need 85 average.
Oh, average.
Okay.
On boss number 2. Why did my music stop? Hold on. Someone's getting fired.
Got a cease and desist order.
Someone's getting fired.
They're outside.
On boss number 2, you guys scored 100 out of 100.
Okay. Yeah, we take those.
So now it comes down to boss number 3. The intern, that was the last straw.
I saw that. Very good.
On boss number 3. I know, Kitty, I know. You guys scored 100 out of 100 means you win!
let's
You
go.
guys win!
Wow! You beat all the bosses! Congratulations!
Nice.
guys
We take those.
won
Yeah.
today.
We take those.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Margin of
Wow.
victory was pretty high, I'm not going to lie, because you guys scored 94, if you round it up, 95 out of 100. So shout outs to you. Ramen, what did our guests win today?
A brand new bowl of ramen. I'm just
Hell
kidding.
yeah.
No. One day I'll have my own ramen shop. Probably going to be an E-Frontier as a smart assembly.
There you go.
At least if I get the wink. There it is. Oh, look at my eye. I did it. I got the
Nice.
wink. All right. Yo, soundboard guy. You have one, just like our great audience has got today. Beautiful trophy. I don't want to say cartridge, right? I don't really know how to explain it, but something very much similar to what our guests were able to claim today. And that is also going to have some utility in the Catalyst ecosystem. We're keeping it very Web3, right? We're going to be like secret and alpha and all that stuff. But you know what? This is one thing I could tell you. Mizzy, Clouds, all these guys, nobody ever talks about shit. This one day, this Catalyst ecosystem is going to pop up and be like, damn, we didn't even know that they were doing anything. And that's the best feeling. That's right. Can we not agree? That's what we want to do. And that's
Mizzy
what-
always
that's what we
says
get
like build in public, but we build in public, but like also he don't tell us anything. But to be fair, we've missed meetings too. So that's how it's gonna end the show today. Please follow the stream if you're new across X or Twitch or YouTube. Please follow our lovely guests on stage, Degend, Yotan, and the cat. Don't forget about the kitty cat. Cloud says we don't talk, we build. That's a very firm statement from the CEO of Catalyst. Shout outs to Jit Stack for the glazing of ramen earlier. Shout outs to Beef Basted, JK, Mick Chillin, everybody in this bitch. Damien, I'm never going to forget you, Damien. Don't worry about it. I got you too, brother. Thanks for, what the hell was that? Thanks for watching the show, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
It was a blast.
Bye.
Peace. E-Frontier, please.